What is good, gaming crew? It's your boy Sairu, and welcome to something a little different. Well, not different. I've done this on my channel before, but today we're not going to be doing any games. But today we are going to be talking about the epilogue chapter of My Hero Academia, my favorite anime slash manga of all time. No secret, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. I love My Hero Academia. And today I just wanted to come on here and talk about the epilogue, the epilogue chapter that just leaked for the final volume of the manga. Yeah, we're just going to get into it, what I think of it, how the whole anime community has been reacting to it. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Also, before we get started, I just wanted to say, sorry for taking such a long break. I've just been busy with life, it's just been crazy for me. So yeah, I'm back now. What better way to come back than to talk about something I love, but yeah, let's go. I'm gonna be reading the chapter off my phone so I don't get anything mixed up. I'm sorry, I just woke up, so I'm not prepared. I have no script. I just want to talk about it raw, my raw reaction, my raw emotions. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. Now, what do I think of the chapter? Actually, it'll be better if I tell you what I think about the chapter and then get into it. I loved that chapter. I'm so happy for what happens in this chapter. And yeah, I'm about to show you what happens in this chapter, as so you guys can see why I'm so happy, why I'm glad this ending happened, So yeah, let's get into it. So we start off in this grassy land area with Ochako. She's just in this grassy land area, standing around, looking around. She sees birds, it's windy, and she's talking about how she has to work, and she wants to know what this place is, where she's at. Then she looks up, and Toga's there, and Toga's like, "Hey, Ochako." And then next panel, we see that it was just a dream. A dream about Toga. Then after that, we get to the next day where she's at work doing her job, court counseling, and she has the big three. She has my boy Mirio, my girl Nejire, and my boy Amajiki, and they look so fire with their fucking designs. My boy Mirio got a Josuke haircut, and Nejire and Amajiki look fucking sick. And they're here to help Ochako with her court counseling, job. And then Ochako goes on to say how, she has a lot of help with her work, where even Hawks is helping her out because Hawks loves what she's doing, so he wants to help out. And then Amajiki sees that and he's like, "Oh, since you're getting so much help, you must have a lot of, me time, free time." And then we get to a panel where Uraraka's, thinking to herself. And then, boom, a bunch of kids are here that Uraraka is here to help. And then Mirio is he's so fast, teleporting on the tree, doing an exercise with the kids, seeing who can hit him first. And they're all trying to help out. Ochako sees that there's one kid that's not doing anything, so she lends her hand out, gives him a hand, and then Mirio's bragging about how no one can touch him until the one kid that Uraraka lent out to help gets the hit on him. And then Mirio's, surprised, saying, "Oh my god, you did it, you're the peach farmer." And all the kids are jealous, blah blah blah. And then we get to Uraraka saying, "Not gonna lie, I do have a lot of work and responsibilities. After all, I'm counting on a pre-existing project, but I love seeing people happy, so I'm working with what I love." Stating that she may not have a lot of free time, but she's doing what she loves, and she loves seeing people happy. And as long as she keeps doing what she loves, then that's all that matters to her. And she's also saying how Sue is also by her side all the time, so that me time that she has, that free time, that me time, is all the time because Sue's with her. Then we cut to later that night where Ochako and Sue are on their way to the Class A reunion, which is what this chapter is all about. And on the train ride there, Sue asks Ochako, you know, is Toga still showing up in your dreams? Or showing up in your dreams again? And Ochako's like, yeah, she has, but she doesn't remember the dreams. And she thinks it could be due to stress from work, and, you know, she has so much pressure that she doesn't even notice it. And she even went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you know, we didn't find anything wrong, you're probably just tired. To which Sue is like, you know, you need to get a second opinion. Don't just get the first opinion and then dip, you know? And Ochako's like, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. But going to the doctor was your idea, you know? And Ochako's reminiscent, thinking, you know, is she trying to tell me something? That day, Himiko's blood saved my life. She ended up dying, and her blood should be gone already. But what if it mixed with mine, and she's living inside me, like one for all? And that makes sense, you know, her blood mixed with hers, she can look at Toga, because, you know, she's living inside her like one for all. And, you know, Toga and Ochako's blood are mixed together, so she has some of her DNA, which she's able to contact, you know, Toga, like how All Might gave Deku his DNA, and so he's able to contact the predecessors of One for All. So, you know, that's what she's thinking is happening right now, which makes sense. And then Sue is like, so you need to remember what happened in those dreams. Then we cut to that same night, but this time we're in the car with Bakugo, Kirishima, and Deku. And Bakugo's all pissed, saying, you know, why do I have to give Deku a ride? And then, you know, my boy Kirishima saying, you know, tricking Bakugo, saying, you know, if I drive this, you know, I'm gonna scratch it. And then Bakugo and Deku are having a conversation, saying, you know, how he didn't really need a ride, but Deku was able to finish the report early on his students because he's a teacher now. And he said he was able to finish early, so he's thankful for the ride. And then Kirishima asks Midoriya or Deku if, you know, any students match his style, because he's looking for sidekicks. And he started his solo career, but, you know, Fat Gum and Amajiki are still helping him, which is nice. And then in that same page, we get a part where Deku's saying, you know, Bakugo received a lot of applications for sidekicks, but they all ended up giving up and crying because of Bakugo's personality. And Bakugo's like, we don't talk about that. And he's all pissed and shit. And then Kirishima's like, you know, they were all impressed with his fight against All For One, that they wanted to sign to be a sidekick with high expectations. But those expectations were killed off right from the interview. And then he's getting more pissed, saying he's gonna kick both of them out if they keep talking about it. And then he gets all serious and says, if someone said they wanted to surpass me, I would have accepted them right away. Which, in my opinion, is fire. That's sick. Because Bakugo knows what he wants. So if someone is willing to match his energy, he will accept them right away. Then we get Deku looking at his All Might signed card. And then Bakugo's like, you know, you'll keep teaching, right? And Deku's like, yeah. I've been collecting data for the armor on days when I'm not teaching, just like Aizawa Sensei did back in the day. Because, you know, he's a hero and he's a teacher, you know, exactly like All Might, exactly like Aizawa, like Midnight, you know. And that's what I think is cool, you know. A lot of people hated that he became a teacher, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, All Might was a teacher and a hero. Aizawa was a teacher and hero. Midnight was a hero and teacher. You know, like, what's the difference with Deku? He's literally like All Might. Like, come on now. And then Deku goes on to say, you know, how he's been invited to other schools to give lectures and seminars. And he's able to, he has the opportunity to share his experiences with the younger generation almost every day. And the armor has made him very happy. He's very happy to be a hero, but his feelings haven't changed. He would enjoy being a teacher even if he still had One for All, you know? That's what he says. That even if he still had One for All, he thinks he would still be a teacher. Which is really cool in my opinion, because like I said, All Might, Aizawa, Midnight, they were all teachers and heroes. So yeah, you know, he's doing what he loves, you know, and he's back being a hero with the others, and that makes him so happy and thankful. And then Bakugo's, you know, like, I see. And Hiroshima talking about like, oh, he turned down your offer, Bakugo. And then Deku obviously oblivious, saying, you know, huh? And then Hiroshima saying, he just invited you to work at his agency, Midoriya. And then Deku's like, sorry, but that won't happen. And then Bakugo's like, you know, I get it. And then we get Bakugo giving a serious talk to Deku, saying, you know, how he's not the best person to tell him this, but he thinks he should start thinking more highly about himself, because otherwise you won't even notice the most obvious things. And then Deku's like, you know, obviously, oh, you're one to talk. And Bakugo gives Deku a great push. I'll say that. He gives him a great push, saying, giving special treatment to everyone means that no one is really special to you. And that'll be important later on. That one statement will be important later on. And then we get Deku sinking in the back seat. And then bam, we made it to the Class 1A reunion. And we see everybody's having a blast. They're there to celebrate that Todoroki is the #2 hero on the Billboard chart. And can we just talk about his name real quick? The air conditioning hero, Shoto. That that is fire as hell. And my boy Todoroki looking all grown up. Kaminari also. And then we get to see more of the characters moving on. You know, seeing them all grown up. You know, Charge Bolt, Sero being the #36 hero. Momo and Ida. Ida being #13. Momo being 19. Tentacle being #9, which is fire as hell. And then they're all talking about how they're noteworthy of being heroes, because rising in the rankings is noteworthy in itself. And then Mineta's all pissed off, saying, you know, words can hurt, you know, because he's so pissed because he just barely made the Billboard at 108th place. And then, you know, Jiro making fun of him, saying 108th is pretty good ranking for you. And we see Pinky also Mina as the #28 hero, and with Jiro being the #30 hero. And then we get to see Anima, you know, the sidekick at Tentacle's agency, which makes sense, you know. Not everyone needs to be their own hero. They could be sidekicks, you know, and they still would be fire as hell. And then we see my boy Shinso, you know, who's out of the ranking. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight, you know, but his hero name as Night Hide, that's fire as hell. And then we see Hagakure as the #39 hero. And then we see Sato, the sugar hero, who's actually a sidekick at Wash's agency. And he goes on to say, you know, that it's crazy that everyone managed to be here tonight. And Ojiro goes on to say that's because the number of villains keeps decreasing every year, with Ojiro being the #32 hero. And then we get to a panel with my boy Tokoyami and Aoyama together, with Tokoyami saying they'll never disappear, but at least they lose strength. The heroes who kept fighting after that day are living proof of that. And then, going on to what he said, that the heroes who kept fighting that day, we get to see a panel of a lot of the pro heroes. You know, we see Mirko, we see Best Jeanist, we see Gang Orca, and we see Kamui Woods, where Mirko's the #6 hero, Best Jeanist is the #5, and Kamui Woods is the #4 hero, and Gang Orca being the #21. And then we get to the next page where we see post time skip Mount Lady, and we also see a bunch of the pros and a bunch of the old students. We see Death Arms, Ryukyu, Present Mike, Monoma, who looks fucking sick as hell, Tetsu, Inasa, Kami, and the fucking the meatball dude, the meat dude. I forgot his name, but yeah, we see them all grown up and going on. Tokoyami continuing the sentence. Now it's our turn, and then at the end of this road, then we go to the next page where he says we won't be needed anymore. Heroes are slowly heading towards extinction. And then we get to the next page or next panel where everyone's, you know, saying, you know, the drink, they want to make sure that the drink he's drinking doesn't have alcohol. And Todoroki is, you know, going off what Tokiyama saying, you know, he's right. And Deku is also saying, you know, indeed, he is right. And then Todoroki goes on to say, you know, recently, a lot of people have been saying this to me. To which Bakugo responds, are you going to brag? And Todoroki's like, you know, maybe. And then we get to Todoroki saying, you know, how he's fought against the cruel fate and how he's hesitated and stumbled a lot along the way to where he is now. And he feels like, you know, fighting and getting to where he is now were things that were bound to happen. And he wants to take chopstick and bowl making classes in Ishikawa. To which Deku and Bakugo are, you know, like, what? Like, they're all surprised. They're both surprised because, you know, that came out of left field. Because they did not expect that. And Todoroki found out that, you know, he realized that if food might taste better if he made it himself. And then we get a confirmation that, you know, Dabi is dead. He said, you know, while praying at Toya's altar, I finally realized something. I've always enjoyed eating. I realized wanting to become a hero is not all I am about. Like, he still likes being a hero, but it's not all he wants to do. So, and he realized that he loves to eat, so that's why he's making he's doing chopstick and bowl making classes. And Bakugo goes on to say, you know, he has plenty of free time, to which Todoroki says, yeah, now I have time to spare in my heart. And then Bakugo goes on to say, you know, I bet you've been reading Parasite, which was a fucking cool, you know, call to Parasite. That was fucking sick. And then we get to a part where Class A is screaming across the room saying, what? No way. Kurohiro and Kinoko are dating. To which Hagakure said, yup. And then Mina saying, you know, but I went on a mission with them recently and there weren't any signs. And then Sero, you know, saying, you know, speaking of dating, like, speaking of which, what about you two? Pointing at Kaminari and Jiro. Saying, you know, what's up with you guys? You know, aren't your offices right next to each other? And then Kaminari and Jiro start laughing, saying, you know, you got it all wrong. Kaminari just wanted to open an office in his own agency, and the building he happened to see was right next to Jiro's. So he was so happy and didn't have to think twice about it, and how it reminded him about school, like how they were sitting next to each other. And I feel like that's a hint towards something. I feel like they like each other, they just don't know it yet. And then Bakugo goes on to say, you know, lame losers. And now we get to the part of the chapter where, like, the rest is, like, very important. We see Deku reminiscing about what Todoroki just said, you know, bound to happen. And then he reminisces, you know, about how he loves doing what he does, and he's back to being a hero, and how he's living a dream. He's living his dream, and there's nothing better than that. And then he remembers what Shigaraki told him. Make sure you do your damn best. And Deku himself is thinking to himself, you know, a me that I still haven't discovered. There's a part of him that he still hasn't discovered. And then the next panel, we see Deku looking at Uraraka, and Uraraka's laughing, smiling. Deku's looking at her. And that's when Deku finally realizes that he really loves Ochako. We see his eyes open wide, and then it's interrupted with an alert about a stolen vehicle on 2nd South District, and the criminal's quirk is causing a lot of damage, and the heroes are getting ready to suit up. And then on the next fucking panel, boom, we see them all gearing up, getting ready, going to the scene. And then they arrive with Todoroki stopping the scene, you know, lickety split like that, because Todoroki the GOAT, he's number 2. And then we see that the crime has been stopped, lickety split. Then Bakugo bragging, you know, saying, you know, how he got there first. Deku's like, no, it was Ida. And then Ida's like, you know, relax, you know, stop bickering. And then after that, after the guy has been handled, you know, he said he wasn't on purpose. He does, like, you know, he said it wasn't on purpose. He may not be a bad guy. He's just glad there were no victims. And then after that, after everything's been dealt with, they said, you know, it was short. It was a short time, but let's call it a night, shall we? Everyone's saying, yeah, we can get together soon again. And then we see that Todoroki has paid for everything in the meal. And then Mina's all pissing, you know, you're the reason why we're here. We should at least split it. And then we see Momo and Jiro paying up their split. And then we see Bakugo talking about how he has to wake up early tomorrow because Edshot is coming back to Japan. So he says goodbye with Mina and Kirishima in the back going to his car because he's going to give him a ride. Deku says goodbye. You know, he's inviting Bakugo to come as a guest teacher more often because Aizawa is planning a class on communication, to which Bakugo says, don't use me as a bad example. Then we see Deku laughing and walking away. And then he thinks about what Bakugo said. Giving special treatment to everyone means that no one is really special to you. He's thinking about that. So he remembers what he says. And then the next page, we see Ochako and Sue saying goodbye to each other, how they'll see him tomorrow for work. And Ochako saying tomorrow's going to be another day of work. And then he says, we sat far away from each other, so I couldn't even talk to him. Obviously talking about Deku. And she saw that Deku was looking at him, so she knows Deku was looking at him. And then she said, that's okay. We see each other a lot because of work. And she stops walking. She remembers, you know, the day Deku said, you know, you are my hero after that battle. Then she goes on to say, we discovered what we wanted and what we needed to do. We respect each other's wishes and kept smiling together. That's more than I could ask for. But then she starts to reminisce. She remembers the time she's talking about how she's just keeping that All Might keychain that he gave her for Christmas just for safekeeping. And then she also remembers the time where when she was fighting Toga, Ochako told Toga that she fell in love with Deku. And then she stops walking. And then she goes on to say, but I really wanted to. The next page, we get to see Deku running to Uraraka, and Uraraka finishing off her statement saying, talk to him a bit more. She really wanted to talk to him a bit more. And then we see Deku saying, oh great, you're here. And then Ochako sees Toga again. And then Toga saying, Ochako, it's fine. With Ochako having a surprised look on her face because she sees Deku running up to her. And then my boy Deku catches up with Uraraka, and then he goes on to say, I respect everyone. Everyone is special, and I love everyone. I always thought it was as simple as that. But today, I really wanted to talk to you more, Uraraka. And not just today, from now on too. With Ochako looking at him, surprised, blushing, and then he reminisces about Toga one last time, with Toga saying, I've lived exactly the way I wanted to. And since I loved you so much, Ochako, my wish is for you to live exactly like you want to. With Toga going up to Ochako, giving her a push, Ochako stumbling. She stumbles and falls onto Deku, with Deku trying to finish his sentence but not being able to. And they look at each other all surprised, blushing. And Ochako, you know, is thinking, you know, how it's been a month since they started seeing each other more often, because remember at the final chapter he got his suit and they started doing hero work as adults. And she's reminiscing about that. And then Deku's like, you know, what do you say? And then Ochako's, you know, laughing, you know, saying, oh. Then she looks back at Toga one more time. And Toga smiling at Ochako. And Ochako says, yeah, we were thinking the same thing. with her smiling, holding her hand out. Deku smiling, blushing, reaching his hand out. And then, bam. They held hands, and that is the end of the epilogue chapter. I thought that epilogue chapter was beautiful. I thought it was great. I'm so happy Deku and Ochako end up together. I'm so happy about that. I'm happy we got to see everyone, you know, in their careers and what they're doing. And I can't wait to see what Horikoshi does next. Whether he does a sequel manga or not, I'm happy with the way it ended. I really am happy. I'm just happy Deku and Ochako are actually a thing now. But there were some people who were not happy that Deku and Ochako ended up together. Can you guess who those people were? I'll give you one guess. One guess. If you don't get that, I'll tell you anyway. Did you guess who it was? If you didn't, I'll still tell you. It was the toxic shippers. Now listen. You're allowed to ship whoever the fuck you want, as long as you keep it to yourself. Once you start doing a ship and then you become delusional, saying, you know, going on Twitter, forcing other people, saying, you know, oh, you're stupid if you want blah blah blah, or blah blah blah, the blah blah blah. You know, once you start forcing your ships onto other people, and then you start calling Horikoshi's art bad, you start calling him a homophobic piece of shit, that's where it's like a, yo, what the fuck are you doing moment. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't have to disrespect Horikoshi's art. You don't have to disrespect him as a human being. You don't gotta make up shit about him just because your delusional headcanon did not make it into this fucking story. Because they never made sense. Now granted, you're allowed to, like I said, you're allowed to ship whoever you want as long as you keep it to yourself and you don't force it on other people. Like, if you're not happy with Deku and Ochako ending up together, write a fanfic, you know? Don't force it on other people. Make yourself happy, you know? You don't gotta come at the creator. That's fucking stupid. And I'm sure everyone has seen this TikTok in the anime community, but there was a TikTok where this person was crying because Ochako and Deku ended up together, and their headcanon of Deku and Bakugo ended up together didn't. And it was so dumb. And then people on Twitter are going on to say, you know, oh, so all this shit that happened with Bakugo and Deku meant nothing. It didn't. It meant something. Like, Bakugo and Deku are still rivals and friends, bro. They're still, you know, they're still talking to each other, you know? Like, what are you talking about? And it's these same people who give My Hero Academia a bad rep, who give anime in general a bad rep. Like, no one's saying you can't have your own ships. Go ahead, have fun, do what you love to do, go ship whoever you want, just keep it to yourself, have fun with yourself, you know? There's no need to go up in arms and shit and go at the creator because your delusional headcanon that never made sense in the first place didn't make it into the fucking story. In my opinion, those people are not true My Hero Academia fans. They're not real My Hero Academia fans. They're in a whole nother league. I don't even believe that they're real anime fans. You know, they're in a whole nother league of their own. But the true My Hero Academia fans, the true anime fans, will appreciate what Horikoshi has done with this story and realize how great of a story it was and how great of a series it is. Me being one of them, I appreciate the story. I loved how it ended. I think it's a great series. I appreciate the work he has done. You know, I'm proud to say I'm a My Hero fan, you know. I love My Hero, it's no secret, I'll keep saying it. I love My Hero Academia. It's just there's a lot of people who give that name, there's some people who give that name a bad rep. But there's also a lot of people who are actually really nice and they're actually really fun to talk to about My Hero Academia, talking about the story and how good the characters are and who's our favorite character, blah blah blah. You know, a lot of people have fun with it, but then there's a lot of people who are like, toxic about it. You know, they just ship. Oh, they should have done this and blah blah blah. My opinion, these people need to grow up. Oh, accept that your fucking delusional headcanon did not make it in, and just move on. At the end of the day, it's not that serious. You can still be a shipper and be normal about it, you know, saying, you know, oh, I didn't like the way this ended. I'm gonna go and make my own, you know, fanfic. You know, that's totally fine. Go do it. Have fun. You know, don't start forcing your headcanons down other people's throat, and don't come at the creator because something you wanted badly did not happen. And you know, with that being said, I loved the epilogue chapter. I'm so happy with the way it ended. Whether he makes a sequel manga or not, happy Ochako and Deku actually became a thing, and I would like to see a sequel. A sequel of what? I don't, like I said before, I don't know if he's gonna do one. Maybe he won't. If he does make a sequel, I want to see him do hero stuff as adults, and we get to see more of that Ochako Deku relationship and more of like their careers and shit. Or make a like a Naruto the Last movie where it's a My Hero the Last, where we see them do stuff as adults, you know, see more of that Deku and Ochako relationship, and then bam, that's it. Or like I said, make a sequel, you know, what the story may be. Maybe it could be about Dai and Deku and how, you know, Deku will teach Dai how to become a hero like how All Might was to Deku, and we get to see their story, you know? You know, who knows? I'm not the creator. I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do, but that's just what I think, you know, would be a cool idea. You know, a My Hero the Last movie or a Hero Agency sequel. I don't know. I think that would be cool though. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you and guys enjoyed the epilogue chapter as much as I did. I'm so happy, and yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, by the way, sorry for taking such a long break, but I've been busy with life, like I said, but I'm back now. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.